In any election cycle, there are a number of important questions at the tops of voters' minds in the months leading up to when they go and cast their ballots. But this summer, that's been especially true. Now, the biggest question, will Joe Biden drop out of the goddamn race, has thankfully been resolved after weeks of speculation, as has the second biggest question. Who would replace him? Kamala Harris. All of the fears of a 1968-style contested convention turned out to be totally unfounded, and Kamala Harris has already received the support of a solid majority of Joe Biden's convention delegates.
Turns out it was easier than anyone said it would be.
Now that leaves the third and fourth biggest questions that voters are asking. Who is Kamala Harris going to pick to be her VP? And also, who the hell is J.D. Vance? What's his deal exactly? Now, as far as that first question, nobody knows just yet. They've got 2 weeks until the deadline for the Ohio ballot, so we will know soon enough. But here's the latest speculation via CBS News.
Approximately a dozen individuals are being vetted as possible running mates for Vice President Kamala Harris, according to a source familiar with the process. That number is larger than previously reported and is an indication that the campaign is casting a wide net at the start of this process and isn't winnowing the list yet. Multiple sources tell CBS News that the list of candidates includes several governors: Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania, Roy Cooper of North Carolina, Andy Beshear of Kentucky, Tim Walz of Minnesota, J.B. Pritzker of Illinois, and Gretchen Whitmer of Michigan. Members of the Biden administration, including Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo and Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, are also being considered, along with Arizona Senator Mark Kelly, among others. The Harris campaign is also looking at individuals who do not currently hold elective office.
Ooh, I heard Charles Barkley's available.
Yes, TNT no longer running with the NBA, so
his schedule just opened right up. I think they should do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, definitely some good names in there. A few not so good ones. I mean, Pete Buttigieg, the guy who went from small town mayor to overseeing the Department of Transportation while airplanes were falling apart and trains were spilling chemicals everywhere. Come on.
He's still a good speaker, though.
Yeah, but the Department of Transportation stuff, that's a non-starter.
Yeah, he's going to get called out for that immediately.
It was like, I mean, infrastructure in this country has been crumbling for a long time, but this was an especially...
They did pass the largest infrastructure bill in many, many, many years.
Right.
So they'll get started on it.
Whoever's head of transportation in a decade will get credit for that. That's how it works, unfortunately. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro seems like a strategic choice to avoid losing Pennsylvania, but say goodbye to, all the voters who couldn't stomach voting for Genocide Joe and were willing to give Kamala a chance because Shapiro has compared campus protesters to Ku Klux Klan members and Nazis.
He also said that he would sign a bill if it came across his desk that would make it unlawful for colleges to divest from Israel.
Yeah, he wants to make BDS illegal. It is illegal not to give Israel money. So, gonna be a no from me, dog. But Andy Beshear, Tim Walz, and J.B. Pritzker, they're pretty great choices, I think. Their politics are progressive, but they also come off as normal and unintimidating.
I like Tim Walz. He's everybody's fun uncle. He also has picked up and run with the best slogan of the campaign.
I agree. It's like, why are you being so weird?
Why are these
people are weird little freaks?
Yeah. Republicans are weirdos. Republicans are freaks.
Yeah.
And he said that very eloquently.
That is the strat.
I believe it was MSNBC. And
that's always been the strat. I mean, that's how, you can say all you want about the 2020 election, but I think what it came down to was your average voter, your suburban white 40-year-old who is a blank slate, saw, the two options, just like, well, one side's being pretty fucking weird, the other's being a little less weird.
Yeah, but in a vibes-based economy with a vibes-based election, he passed the vibes test.
Yeah.
He's getting lots of shares.
I didn't know about this guy too much, but
he's got the picture of him with the kids all hugging him because he signed a school lunch program.
Yeah. Oh, he has ruled Minnesota like a benevolent tyrant. Forcing with like a 1-vote majority in the legislature, he's like forcing like school lunches and shit. It's awesome. He's doing FDR shit in Minnesota.
There are people that are sharing the wonderful juxtaposition of him with the kids hugging him over getting free school lunches for public schools there, and then Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who's signing the...
putting the kids to work.
Putting them to work, and they're all just standing around like, what?
The children yearn for the mines.
So
now
Tim
come
Walz,
take a picture with me.
That's cool. Andy Beshear, great.
Yeah, J.B. Pritzker, big boy season.
He could eat J.D. Vance.
The thing with a lot of these governors is I feel like the people in those states want to keep those people in power. They don't want to lose them. But I mean, Gretchen Whitmer would also be, I think, a great choice, but she also keeps insisting she's not interested in the job. But maybe she's got her fingers crossed behind her back. Who knows? So yeah, that's where things are with that for now. We'll see soon enough. Yeah. So let's move on to question number 2. Who the hell is J.D. Vance? What's his deal?
We've already gone over some of the basics about Trump's last-minute VP pick. He's been a senator for Ohio for less than 2 years. Before that, he wrote a popular memoir that got adapted into a terrible movie. Almost ruined Glenn Close's career.
Yeah.
And speaking of terrible, his views on just about every hot-button issue are regressive even by Republican standards. He wants abortion to be fully illegal at the federal level, even in cases of rape or incest. He thinks women should stay in violent marriages, and he's got a real big problem with women who don't get shacked up and start pumping out babies. He also wants porn to be totally illegal and opposes laws that would codify the right to same-sex and interracial marriages. Ironic. And despite Trump pretending he's just now hearing about Project 2025 and doesn't support it, J.D. Vance wrote the foreword to a new book by Project 2025's lead author, who, as we all know, comes from the Heritage Foundation.
Yeah, the head of the Heritage. He's the guy who said the next American Revolution will be bloodless if the left allows it to be.
I will say, boots on the ground, conversations with my relatives just today, unprompted, on the phone. You know that Project 2025 stuff's all bullshit that was invented by the left.
Oh, the leftists over at the Heritage Foundation.
I just kind of froze up in that, and I was just like, oh, you're so far gone. Why don't you just read Trump's Project 47 goals on his website, because they're almost identical.
Or look at the many times that Trump himself was like, the Heritage Foundation, they love me. They said I've already checked off half their boxes for what they want me to do, and I'm looking forward, very excited to do more of what the Heritage Foundation wants me to do.
And specifically right now, he's talking out of both sides of his mouth, because on the one hand, he's making it a very clear point to say that he doesn't know anything about it. While on the other hand, his VP pick wrote the foreword for the book that explains it further.
I mean, even the fact that the Heritage Foundation put all this shit in writing for everyone to see is a symptom of what has turned out to be a hilariously poorly judged gambit by the right.
It was a lot of hubris.
Yeah, just like, well, Joe Biden he's on death's door. He's going to fucking lose, so like, who cares?
Let's just put it all
out there. So yeah. As if all that weren't bad enough for J.D. Vance, there are now reports circulating that J.D. Vance once had sex with a couch.
Okay.
Now, this was first pointed out on Twitter by user Rick Rude's Calves, presumably some sort of beat reporter, who posted, can't say for sure, but he might be the first VP pick to have admitted in a New York Times bestseller to fucking an inside-out latex glove shoved between 2 couch cushions. And there's a citation. Vance, Hillbilly Elegy, pages 179 to 181. He went on about that shit for 3 pages.
Wow, it must have been a pretty formidable experience.
That's what they do. That's what they do in
Appalachia,
Eastern Ohio, which is not Appalachia. But
he was born in. It's all. He's picking and choosing from his childhood.
Not a lot to do in Eastern Ohio. Sometimes you do what we like to call fucking the couch.
Yeah, with essentially like almost a fifi.
Yeah. So the reactions to this news were, of course, a lot of shock, but a lot of good jokes.
The first Gooner VP.
A lot of funny riffs on this. But folks, obviously, it's not true.
It is funny, but it's obviously not true.
It's very funny. It's not true.
It was refuted immediately, but that doesn't stop everyone from having a great time with it.
Yeah. I mean, if you actually read the passage from the book, there was no latex glove. He actually went in wrong.
That's right, because he's a Catholic.
Yeah, there was no glove. No. So let's get it straight. He fucked the couch, but
he did it raw.
No, I'm kidding. But seriously, this is a simple case of randos knowingly spreading false information online as a goof, which is always fun. J.D. Vance is already a weird little freak based on the facts. There's really no need to bring innocent couches into this, and innocent gloves. Now, we did at least get some incredible mainstream reporting out of this, though. Like this piece from the Associated Press.
Posts spread baseless rumors about GOP vice presidential pick J.D. Vance having sex with a couch. From the fact checkers over at the Associated Press.
We've got our best man on the case.
Yeah. Hey, can someone look into this J.D. Vance couch fucking? Yeah, I know, but it's a big talking point online. We got to look into it.
For at least part of Wednesday, when you Googled J.D. Vance, just J.D. Vance, this was the top result.
Yeah. Claim. Republican vice presidential nominee J.D. Vance wrote in his 2016 memoir about having sex with a couch. AP's assessment, false. Vance does not write about performing such an act in his best-selling book. A searchable PDF of the memoir includes 10 mentions of the word couch or couches, none of which are related to accounts of salacious escapades. Some social media users have claimed the story appears on pages 179 to 181, where Vance actually writes about his first days as a freshman at The Ohio State University.
The Ohio State.
Yeah, well, that's because the PDF version, it's not the extended version. It's basically, you got to go look for the Snyder cut of Hillbilly Elegy.
Yeah, we got to get the British version, because this stuff was redacted in the American version.
Yeah, it's lost in translation, surely. Oh well. Now, unfortunately, mainstream media news articles about J.D. Vance not fucking a couch do now have people asking questions that are already answered by the news stories.
Yeah, why is the MSM all rallying around this story to say that it's not true?
Yeah.
More
fake news.
If the last 8 years have taught me anything, it's that when the MSM says that something isn't true,
must be true,
buddy, it's probably true.
Yep, and now every Republican has to go home and fuck their couch in solidarity.
Yep. I'm going to go home, put some ketchup on a well-done steak, and have myself a nice night with the couch.
Honey, what are you doing? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm supporting the Republican vice presidential candidate. Yeah. What does it look like I'm doing? Having sex with a couch?
I'm moving the Overton window to the right.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, but it didn't happen. Or if it did, he didn't put it in his book.
Yeah. Listen, if I was
back on his old live journal pages because he's a millennial.
Someone did find
his old blog.
Yeah, his like Google blog, I think. But it's really unremarkable, except that he's so millennial.
Yes.
I'm sure I had blog posts around the same time that felt just as embarrassing looking back. But I had at least I was smart enough to make sure that shit was all fucking deleted off the internet the first chance I got. But like we said, there's plenty of off-putting facts about J.D. Vance that aren't lies, even funny ones. For example, he's a protege of billionaire Peter Thiel, who bankrolled his entry into politics, and whose stated views on democracy and government are basically, what if Lex Luthor was also racist? And both Vance and Thiel are big fans of a friend of theirs named Curtis Yarvin, who is the key figure in it's been called the Neo-Reaction Movement, or the Dark Enlightenment.
Oh, wow.
Self-described, I'm sure. It's a bunch of tech bro libertarian nonsense that's cranked up to 11, where big smart tech billionaires will get to rule over the normie masses as kings and feudal lords as nature intended. But it gets even weirder when you see specific examples of how this would work in practice. Here's the New Republic.
In 2008, a software developer in San Francisco named Curtis Yarvin, writing under a pseudonym, proposed a horrific solution for people he deemed not productive. Convert them into biodiesel, which can help power the Muni buses. Yarvin, a self-described reactionary and extremist who was 35 years old at the time, clarified that he was just kidding. But then he continued. The trouble with the biodiesel solution is that no one would want to live in a city whose public transportation was fueled, even just partly, by the distilled remains of its late underclass. However, it helps us describe the problem we are trying to solve. Our goal, in short, is a humane alternative to genocide. Wow.
Yikes! It continues. He then concluded that the best humane alternative to genocide is to virtualize these people. Imprison them in permanent solitary confinement, where, to avoid making them insane, they would be connected to an immersive virtual reality interface so they could experience a rich, fulfilling life in a completely imaginary world. Yarvin's disturbing manifestos have earned him influential followers, chief among them, tech billionaire Peter Thiel, and his one-time Silicon Valley protege, Senator J.D. Vance, whom the Republican Party just nominated to be Donald Trump's vice president. If Trump wins the election, there is little doubt that Vance will bring Yarvin's twisted techno-authoritarianism to the White House, and one can imagine, with horror, what a receptive would-be autocrat like Trump might do with those ideas.
Yeah, so that's cool. One of J.D. Vance's biggest political influences is a guy who wants to put poor people in the Matrix.
In the device.
Yeah, and also, like, the connections are crazy. Like, J.D. Vance became obsessed with Peter Thiel after seeing him speak at Yale. Peter Thiel brought J.D. Vance into the VC space and has funded, like, a lot of what's going on. It's, you should be very suspicious of this, especially, like, I know Elon's backing down from it now or whatever, and we'll get to it. But, like, a lot of these tech guys are freaks.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, Blake Masters in the 2022 election, that was another, Thiel placed bets on a couple guys. Blake Masters also, like, was basically, it was like Thiel's, like like assistant for years. But yeah, Blake Masters was too weird and off-putting for the people of Arizona who, oh my gosh, they went with a fucking astronaut instead.
Yeah.
Who could have guessed? But with JD, he donated, I believe it was like a record amount of money to a Senate campaign from an individual donor. It was like over $10 million, I think.
Yeah, and in a bizarre case of history repeating itself, Peter Thiel, when he was in college, was like a vocal... He was against the college divesting itself from apartheid South Africa.
Yeah.
So that's, the whole Palestinian protest stuff is probably really bothering him.
Yeah. Well, and like Elon Musk, Peter Thiel grew up in Africa. I don't know how, it wasn't all South Africa, but it was in colonial Africa.
Yes, that was like a mind manager.
Yeah. He grew up with what we can probably safely assume were some views on race that are not exactly compatible with our current society.
Yeah, no, there's actual quotes of him talking about South Africa. Yeah,
yeah, him and David Sachs, that other fucking tech weirdo, wrote a book in like the late 90s or early 2000s called like The Diversity Myth. That's just like...
A lot of the things that are happening right now in the cultural war zone that's been happening online in the past couple of years seem to align pretty heavily with these guys' views.
Yeah, so, Thiel also, there's... I can't remember what book it was. I think it was Evil Geniuses. But when he was in college, he was like virulently homophobic, even though he's gay. And he was involved in this like offshoot of the college Republicans that was like the super college Republicans. And they were all homophobic, and like a disproportionately high number of them were also closeted gay men.
Yeah, and going into what we've been noticing over the past week or so, just another thing to throw out there, because this has been happening so much in the past couple of days because of Kamala being the pick, Peter Thiel is one of those guys who has never been seen laughing.
Oh yeah, no, he looks terrifying.
Yeah.
He's also, I'm almost positive he's on some fucking like HGH testosterone thing, because if you look at old pictures of him, like back when him and Elon were starting PayPal, he looked kind of normal. And now he looks strange.
Yeah.
Anyway, we don't know if JD Vance himself wants to put the pores in the Matrix. But even if he doesn't, he is still such a weird pick for Trump's Mike Pence replacement that apparently there's a bit of buyer's remorse going on among Republicans. I mean, they picked Vance back when Trump was running against Sleepy Joe, and the whole thing was already a lock. But now, with Biden out, in hindsight, it may have been more wise to pick someone less unlikable, less viscerally unlikable, with maybe some more mass appeal. It's been noted that JD Vance's polling so far has been more negative than positive, which is, I guess, really unusual considering that historically VP picks have been viewed relatively positively even when their running mate has been unpopular. Not with JD. Just right off the bat, people got a first impression of him, they're like, nah.
Even Sarah Palin at the beginning, people were like, hell yeah.
Well, because
the Republicans were, yeah.
And also there was that photoshopped picture of her in a bikini holding a gun.
That's right.
That wasn't real, but so many people were passing that around. Not real, but they wanted to believe. And then there's this from Business Insider.
According to a tweet from The Atlantic's Tim Alberta, allies of former President Donald Trump have said that there's been some second guessing about the selection of Senator J.D. Vance as Trump's running mate, especially now that Vice President Kamala Harris is poised to lead the Democratic ticket. 4 political scientists told Business Insider that Trump's camp had legitimate reasons to be worried. Alberta's story in The Atlantic said President Joe Biden's exit from the presidential race had forced Trump's team to reset its strategy. Initially, Trump's allies said they were confident in their campaign plan, which was designed to defeat Biden. Campaign officials told The Atlantic that Trump's team chose Senator J.D. Vance to try to capitalize on early success, saying the aim was to run up the margins of MAGA support in a blowout election rather than persuade swing voters. Thomas Giff, director of University College London's Center on U.S. Politics, told BI that Trump's selection of Vance was, quote, a confident, some might say too confident decision. Doubling down on mobilizing the MAGA base for a candidate who already has the base eating out of the palm of his hand never seemed like the best tactical play, he said.
Anyways, that's where things are.
Yeah.
Very interesting next couple weeks, months, years.
We'll see what happens with old J.D. Vance because Trump is a fickle beast. He could at any moment in time.
You're fired.
You've been very nasty in the polls.
He hasn't fired anyone in a while. I bet he's itching to do it.
We should start up the vibe train that his voters really want to see him do the "you're fired" thing again.
Yeah, we miss it.
So he should go through at least 2 or 3 more VP picks.
At this point, there are voters 18-year-olds who are going to vote this November who weren't even alive for The Apprentice.
That's right. But they are alive.
They've never seen Donald Trump fire someone.
They are alive to hear him muse aloud whether he would get electrocuted or eaten by a shark on a nearly daily basis now.
Yeah, he keeps doing that.
He does that one in the Hannibal Lecter at every speech now.
It's very weird.
Yeah, sir, these stories are doing great. Keep selling them.
Anyways, in other U.S. political news, that Benjamin Netanyahu congressional visit went about as well as anyone with half a fucking brain could have predicted, meaning it went terrible.
Yeah.
So inside the Capitol, most of Congress, minus the ones who left, or Rashida Tlaib, who stood there and just held a sign calling him a war criminal, which respect. But the ones who were there, they clapped like seals for an hour while their favorite war criminal called anyone who doesn't like him anti-Semitic. And outside the Capitol, thousands of people protest the fact that not only does the U.S. continue to bankroll this genocide, they also roll out the red carpet for the guy doing it. There were plenty of arrests, including literal family members of hostages still in Gaza who want Netanyahu to end the war. Get out of here. Go to jail. And in the end, people were more angry about a little bit of graffiti than, I don't know, the fact that every fucking day for the past 9 months, we've been seeing pictures and videos of dead children being dug out of the rubble.
Yeah.
Or more recently, you had that, I think it was 60 Minutes, literally an American doctor working over there in Gaza.
That interview is heart-wrenching.
Yeah, it's horrific, but the big thing for a lot of this war has been, oh, well, those are bombs, you know, you can't talk. But like, he's like, no, I'm seeing kids every day here who have been shot in the head by snipers. Israel is
evil shit.
Looking through a scope and being like, yep, that's a 6-year-old.
And
time to go.
You know, the United States hasn't had any this entire time, but any shred of plausible deniability that the United States had in saying that this wasn't their genocide went out the window during this meeting because they all sat there and clapped for the guy like crazy. And
John Fetterman put on a suit. He respects the Prime Minister of Israel more than he respects the American people.
It is wild. And using very specific language, Bibi brought the U.S. into being guilty of whatever is going on. Like, intentionally.
This is your war.
Yes.
You do bear responsibility.
Yeah, it sounded like that was very intentional because I don't take it any other way.
Yeah.
But did you see people were like spreading maggots and flies around at the Watergate Hotel?
Yeah. There was
a lot of protests.
Pretty gross. But and Benjamin Netanyahu is now in all U.S. history has led joint sessions of Congress more than any world leader. More than Winston Churchill.
Good job,
Our number one best friend of the world. Benjamin Netanyahu.
My 3 days of hopium just immediately taken away from me.
Yeah, I think we all needed a reminder that the whole thing is actually fucked.
Yeah. But we're staying optimistic.
I mean, at the very least, Kamala Harris wasn't there. The reason for that seems that she had prior, I don't know. Maybe it was a convenient reason, so maybe she was smart. And
I'm hoping that
found
they
an
stay
excuse.
smart. Yes.
She is apparently meeting with him behind closed doors, like tomorrow or something.
Vice president and presumptive presidential nominee. So it's I don't know. Sorry.
I would like to hope.
I will remain pragmatic.
I would like to hope that she saw Biden's approval from his base go into the shitter with his weird, just undying support for Israel and thinks to herself, maybe there's a better way to do this.
You would hope.
Because there is, honestly, almost anything would be better.
The final test will be her VP pick.
Yeah. If it's Shapiro, I'm off the coconut train at that point. Sorry. Anyways, also, guess who Benjamin Netanyahu's special guest of honor for this ceremony was? Think of the worst person. Yep, it's Elon Musk.
Ah, yes.
And there's plenty.
Certainly I'm not anti-Semitic now.
Yes.
No, you are. You fucking piece of shit.
The man's just attracted to authoritarians.
He loves it.
And yeah, so we got plenty more Elon news where that came from, as usual. But before we catch up on everyone's favorite billionaire, us thousandaires need to pay the bills.
That's right.
And thankfully, today we've got Mint Mobile stepping up to the plate as this episode's sponsor.
Cool.
With big wireless providers, what you see is never what you get. Somewhere between the store and your first month's bill, the price you thought you were paying magically skyrockets. With Mint Mobile, you'll never have to worry about gotchas ever again. When Mint Mobile says $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan, they mean it.
Tired of your mobile provider's complicated bills, fees, and upcharges? Don't you just wish your provider could be straight up about that stuff? Well, with Mint Mobile, say bye-bye to your overpriced wireless plans, jaw-dropping monthly bills, and unexpected overages. Mint Mobile is here to rescue you with premium wireless plans starting at just $15 a month. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. Ditch overpriced wireless with Mint Mobile's deal and get 3 months of premium wireless service for just $15 a month.
To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month premium wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/newsday. That's mintmobile.com/newsday. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/newsday. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower, above 40 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details.
All right, back to the news now with the EELON half of the show. On Wednesday, he was in Congress as Benjamin Netanyahu's special guest, but that's pretty par for the course at this point for a guy who seems to love nothing more than needlessly alienating large portions of his potential customer base. As you'll recall, within minutes of Donald Trump's assassination attempt, Elon was publicly endorsing Trump for president, and within days, he was pledging $45 million a month to a pro-Trump super PAC, along with a bunch of those other billionaire tech weirdos. It's all coming together, right? But as we already discussed with regards to J.D. Vance, things seem to have cooled a bit for Elon now that Sleepy Joe isn't the nominee anymore. The funniest evidence of this is that the laser-eyed American flag profile pic that he switched to around the time of the RNC has now been reverted to the previous profile pic. And we brought this up on Monday, or the previous episode. I showed it visually, like all of the tech guys all changing their profile pictures to that.
It's all the weird like AI and crypto guys who are
and
like...
the Andreesens and David Sachs. And
all the weird VC guys who want to replace the dollar with crypto and want to... you know what they want to do.
And on Wednesday, while walking the halls of Congress, Elon was asked about his support for Trump. So, I mean, you know, with all of the history of the past couple of weeks, you'd assume pretty excited to talk about his favorite candidate. Here you go.
Mr. Musk, are you still going to donate to Trump? Do you still donate $45 million? I'm sorry?
At no point did I say that I was donating $45 million a month to Trump. That was a fiction made up by the Wall Street Journal.
So it's a little interesting that it took him like several seconds to load an answer to what seems like a pretty straightforward question.
Mm-hmm.
And also interesting that he's just denying this now, a full week after the initial reporting. Must have been busy with other stuff. Also, he kind of confirmed it at the time.
No, yeah, he was responding to a tweet from End Wokeness.
Yeah, he didn't deny it, and he kind of confirmed it.
Yeah, so like when the left angers you so much that you now give Trump $45 million a month, and he just says yes below it. Also, it should be clear to anyone that if you're a millionaire or billionaire donating to a political action committee, you are aiming that at a candidate because there are rules in place where you can't donate directly to that person.
Yeah,
like. It's just obvious. So him trying to skirt responsibility for this is a joke.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming the Wall Street Journal didn't just make this up.
No, it was made up by leftists. Oh, the famous leftists over at the Wall Street Journal.
That is a funny thing. Like it
was made up by the left.
Remember like 8 years ago when the Wall Street Journal reported on PewDiePie and everyone's like, oh, there's social justice warriors down at the Wall Street Journal.
It just changes whenever
like baby's first newspaper. Anyway, maybe Elon's right that the reports were false, or maybe he was going to give Trump all that money back when Trump's chances were a lot better, and now he has reconsidered. Or maybe, as many have speculated, he's just being pedantic because super PAC donations technically aren't donations to political candidates, so I haven't given any money to Donald Trump.
Yeah.
I've given it to America PAC.
Where does that money go, Elon?
So yeah, thank you, Citizens United.
Not just where does it go. Him and his buddies came up with the PAC. They invented the PAC. America PAC is something that they started for the sole purpose of funneling this to the Republican Party.
Fake news. But yeah, in any case, he definitely still wants Trump to win, even though, as many have pointed out, Trump has vowed to eliminate the electric vehicle subsidies that Tesla relies on to sell their vehicles, which are not insubstantial. It's like $7,000 for new cars. But yeah, that's apparently no big deal to Elon, who once again insisted during a Tesla shareholders call that Tesla's future is not as a car company. Where'd you get the idea that Tesla's a car company? No, we're an AI company.
So that shareholder call came after Tesla's quarterly earnings report, and here's CNBC with how that went. Tesla shares plummeted the most since 2020 after the electric vehicle maker reported weaker than expected quarterly earnings and another drop in automotive revenue. The stock closed down 12% on Wednesday at $215.99. It's now down 13% for the year, while the Nasdaq is up 16% over that stretch. Tesla on Tuesday said auto revenue declined 7% from a year earlier to $19.9 billion, while margins also fell. Total revenue increased 2% to $25.5 billion. The company has been forced to slash prices globally and offer discounts and incentives as it faces slowing sales and rising competition, especially in China. Tesla remains the top seller of electric vehicles in the US by far, but is losing market share to a growing number of rivals due in part to its aging lineup of sedans and SUVs and the impact of Musk's incendiary and political commentary.
And I gotta say, I just love the fact that Tesla is like at least 5% of just any wide exposure fund you want to buy, an ETF. Like, I want to play it safe. ETFs are supposed to be the safe, but now they're all fucking weighed down by Tesla, and this includes like people's fucking pension funds, retirement funds, and because they're tied up in all those, anytime Tesla goes down, people panic sell not just Tesla, but they panic sell these ETFs as well. So it brings the entire fucking market down. I would, if Fidelity or whoever came up with just like,
slice this off your ETF.
Here's our S&P 500 fund. It's exactly the same as the other one, but minus Tesla.
Yeah.
I would be eternally grateful.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's also worth noting that Tesla's quarterly profits are down 45% compared to the same quarter last year, despite bringing in more revenue, which is bad. If they were bringing in less revenue, that would be less bad than bringing in more revenue and being down 45%.
We're giving the cars away.
So yeah, it seems like pretty much all bad news, but this is Elon Musk. So of course, there were lots of promises that actually this is just a little bump in the road. And big things beyond your imagination, are just right around the corner, guys.
Yeah.
Just believe. All you have to do is close your eyes and tap your heels together and believe.
Yeah.
He repeated the promise that a affordable new Tesla model will be going into production at the beginning of next year, despite there still being no evidence that such a car is even being designed, much less almost ready to produce.
It's going to look like a tetrahedron.
I mean, the fucking Detroit auto shows were like 2 months ago, and those are the cars that the real car companies are putting out at the end of this year. So I don't know. It seems like when you're building cars, if you're saying that a car is going to come out in like 6 months, I don't know. Feels like you should be able to like show, I don't know, even a drawing of it. But
no, it's going into production at the beginning of next year.
Right.
Yeah. And that production, maybe it's pre-production. Maybe they're going to start drawing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You got to look between the lines, Elliot.
Going into production.
Yes, pre-production.
Pre-production is a form of production.
That's right.
He also, again, hyped up the Tesla robo-taxi.
Wow.
Robo-taxis were a big topic on the earnings call. Musk envisions a world in which owners can authorize their Tesla vehicle to be used as part of an Uber-style ride-hailing service, with the cars driving autonomously. When asked when he expects the first robo-taxi ride, Musk said, "I would be shocked if we cannot do it next year."
Well, prepare to be shocked, buddy.
Musk has a history of promising things on a particular timeline and not delivering. On Tuesday, he pushed back the date of the company's robotaxi event to October after previously saying it would take place in August. "This is because I wanted to make some important changes that I think would improve the vehicle," Musk said, adding that Tesla is going to show up a couple of other things. He didn't provide details.
I just want to point out a couple of things. Waymo is so far ahead of Tesla that I don't understand how this is hyping up his stock, because there's other companies that are way, way ahead of where he's even at now that are actually on the road doing this right now.
And they're still not even that good.
And yes, they're still not even that good.
They have actual LiDAR on them, so they
can do a better job than Tesla.
Much better job, and they're still not very good.
The other thing is that Elon has alienated so many people that if given the choice between, if you had to choose between two autonomous ride-sharing companies, I would say that some people might think twice about booking the Tesla one.
Yeah. I personally would not get in one of these.
No.
Mostly out of fear for my safety.
Yeah. Meanwhile, as the Washington Post points out, according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, any company seeking to operate a non-compliant vehicle, like a robotaxi without a steering wheel or gas pedals, must apply for and receive an exemption from the agency before operating on public roads. As of last week, Tesla has not applied for any exemptions for a robotaxi in the United States, NHTSA said in an email to the Washington Post. So yeah,
Any day now.
everything is happening on schedule, as it always does with Elon Musk.
Yep.
And also, don't forget about those robots that everyone in the whole world is gonna have their own robot.
Every person. We're talking sales of like 7 billion.
Yeah.
7 billion units.
Yeah. Here's the Wall Street Journal with that.
Elon Musk said Tesla will have humanoid robots in production to be used within the company next year. He said Monday morning that Tesla would use the robot for internal use first and then aim to produce it for other companies in 2026. Tesla, an electric vehicle maker, has been working on the robot for several years as part of its efforts to expand into robotics and artificial intelligence. The humanoid robots, an offshoot of Tesla's driverless car technology, has excited some investors. Musk has long wanted to frame Tesla as an AI company, in part by showing off its robots and car automation. He has a record of predicting timelines that don't always pan out. Musk said in an earnings call in April that he thought Optimus would be able to complete factory tasks by the end of this year and go on sale by next year.
So once everyone in the world hops into a Tesla cab to go down to the showroom to buy these robots, which again are right around the corner, all this talk of Tesla's declining fortunes will seem very silly.
All that FUD.
Which is why you, the Tesla shareholder, should say yes when Elon asks if he can take $5 billion of your money and invest it in his other company, the AI one. You know, XAI, the company's whose sole product at this point is Grok, the ChatGPT clone only available to Twitter Premium users. According to Musk, XAI has been super helpful to Tesla, though as CNBC notes, he did not elaborate on the ways in which Grok was advancing the company's driving technology.
This is the thing. It's like, it'd be one thing if they had anything more than Grok to show for at this point, but they don't. It's just Grok. So when he says like XAI has been so instrumental in with Tesla, it's like, what the fuck do you mean? What are you talking about?
It's kind of like bizarre because all of the weird culture war stuff that Elon has jumped straight into, including the purchase of Twitter, has kind of very clearly drawn his attention away from his companies, obviously, but it's allowed for like him to be lapped by other companies doing the same stuff.
Yeah.
All of the AI, and I don't like the generative AI stuff, but like all of the AI companies are so far
He's
ahead
too late.
of XAI. All of the driverless robotaxi stuff so far ahead of Tesla.
Mm-hmm.
Every auto manufacturer has just passed Tesla by. He's been so worried.
All he's got is volume, but that's quickly
Diminishing. He spent so much time on pet projects like Twitter and the Cybertruck that he's let his other companies fall by the wayside.
Okay, speaking of the Cybertruck, it's coming to Fortnite and Rocket League, but I mean the vibe based on what I've seen online, the Fortnite community is rejecting this Cybertruck.
Elliot rode in to work with me today and he got to see me do a thumbs down to the Cybertruck, and the guy was vaping while driving.
Yeah.
And he clearly saw me and was just like a little upset about it.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Anytime you see one of these cars, give it a thumbs down.
He goes, "My guy's just jealous. He's just jealous of me."
But I didn't even know there was cars in Fortnite. I'm that out of the loop. But people did point out, they're like, why would you want to drive around the map in this thing? The windshield is fucking gigantic.
It's the biggest hitbox you can drive.
The car's hitbox is huge, and then the windshield, as long as you have an elevated position, like you're fully exposed.
Yeah.
So much to consider. But let's end things today on a non-Elon story, thankfully. Last Friday, the company Crowdstrike pushed a bad software update out into the world, and because basically every business with an ID department uses Crowdstrike's cybersecurity products, there was a global outage of computer systems at hospitals, banks, 911 call centers, public transit systems, retail stores, restaurants, government agencies, and more and more and more for like a day.
Mm-hmm.
They just
for Delta, it's
they were
extended.
fine.
No, Southwest was fine. Delta was still experiencing stuff.
Well, they just got to turn the computers off and on 15 times.
Sure.
It was a single point of failure that generated a mini Y2K for one business day. But now that the dust has settled, CrowdStrike, they feel real bad about all this. And they want to make things right. Mm-hmm. Here's TechCrunch.
CrowdStrike, the cybersecurity firm that crashed millions of computers with a botched update all over the world last week, is offering its partners a $10 Uber Eats gift card as an apology. according to several people who say they received the gift card, as well as one source who also received one. On Tuesday, a source told TechCrunch that they received an email from Crowdstrike offering them the gift card because the company recognizes the additional work that the July 19th incident has caused. And for that, we send our heartfelt thanks and apologies for the inconvenience, the email read, according to a screenshot shared by the source. The same email was also posted on X by someone else. To express our gratitude, your next cup of coffee or late night snack is on us. On Wednesday, some of the people who posted about the gift card said that when they went to redeem the offer, they got an error message saying the voucher had been canceled. When TechCrunch checked the voucher, the Uber Eats page provided an error message that said the gift card has been canceled by the issuing party and is no longer valid. Oh, so I guess it's not good enough? Well, then you get nothing. Oh, so you're going to complain now?
Yeah, I don't know what exactly happened, but yeah, they're like $10 gift cards. And also like $10 for Uber Eats. I don't think that even covers a single item.
It won't cover the fees.
The fees and everything else. Like you're not getting anything.
Yeah, if you ordered something for $10 because of your gift card, you'd end up paying $25 by the time it got there.
Yeah, unless you were picking up. But
this is still just a hilarious thing to offer. Yeah. One of the biggest outages in internet history.
It's more insulting than if they had offered nothing.
No, it would have been better if they offered all of their big business clients free identity protection software, but only for 90 days.
Yeah, that's the standard. Oops, we fucked up the world. Apology.
Oh God.
But I do like. I want to know the story of why they gave everyone these gift cards and then the gift cards didn't even fucking work.
No idea. Because they got on the phone with a scammer who was like, we need you to go down to Best Buy and buy 1 million Uber Eats gift cards.
Your son is in prison.
Yeah.
And the local police department, they said they'll only accept Uber Eats gift cards as bail. So
Kip Boga called CrowdStrike and got them to give everyone an Uber Eats gift card. Thank you, Kip Boga.
Anyway, that's our show.
Please click the like button. It was the other day. We begged, we pleaded, and they did. They came back in greater numbers than I've ever seen.
I want to see you clicking that button.
Thank you for clicking the button. It takes 1 second. Boom. Confetti flies everywhere.
Button.
If you want to help the show, you want to support the show and the channel, click the join button. You can become a paid subscriber, and you get a bunch of little emojis down there, which we should probably update. But in the meantime, please leave a comment and do whatever else you need to do. We have clips over here that you do, or whole videos to watch. You got it's Jover, baby.
It's Jover. We didn't say Jover once in that whole episode.
It took a lot of holding back.
It's weird.
Also, if you think the RNC was a hot spot for gay activity, you might be right.
Who's to say? Watch the video.
Check those out. We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.